front of the camera. I have been sick and I have not been feeling well. I was sick Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And today I'm feeling a lot better. I was feeling better like yesterday, but I'm feeling a lot better today. But I was like so afraid to go outside because I was afraid I was gonna like get sick again, and I did not want that to like happen. So I stayed in today, and the whole time I was like sick, I was working on my murder mystery book, Summer Flowers, which I had already like did an unboxing of the book and stuff. And if you're interested in that, I can actually give you the link to watch the unboxing. So I was working on that, and then yesterday and today I was working on a brand new poetry book that I just thought of. Well, actually yesterday I was working on a poetry book that I promoted before, and truth to be told, I actually forgot about it. It's called Behind These Holy Eyes, and I had the proof copy, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this one. So I was working on that yesterday, and then I thought of a brand new poetry book, which is called Human, and it's just talking about, you know, we're all sinners, we have flaws. Just please accept me for me. I'm only human. What can I do? I make mistakes all the time. So I was working on that yesterday, and I was working on it today. I was gonna go out, but then I was like, no, I'll just stay home. And I was working on that book, and I finally did get Behind These Holy Eyes done. I do need to order copies of that. I think I need to order like one more proof copy. Just look through it just to make sure everything is right. I'm gonna turn this camera just a little bit. Okay. I feel like I'm just like this. Okay, so the last time we did a live reading was chapter 6. So chapter 6, oh, it was from Inga's point of view. They're training Tyler to become one of the demons that Inga had created. So now we are on chapter 7. I'm gonna take a drink. These are so good. Candy got these for me, and I love them because I was like feeling sick, and I called her, and she brought me some items, and this, I have strawberry banana, which I already drank, and then I just opened this, and I love like punch drinks. They're really, really good. So, that is good. She told me on the phone, these are way better than pop. So, I'm pet sitting this week into next week. I think I'm going to get a couple of these. Okay. So, we are on chapter 7. Okay. I don't know why I'm so talkative. I get very talkative when I'm done being sick. And Oreo is hyper. Oreo, calm down. Okay. Chapter 7. Minutes felt like a ticking clock lost in its spell while trying to find its way out of the darkness it dwelled in. Oh my gosh, that is really good. I love that. The quiet night wind blew by Olivia's locks. Chills snaked up her arms and neck. Her skull prickled with the brisk breeze. At least there was a strip of daylight left. A high-pitched scream echoed close by, catching Olivia's attention. Gina looked up past Olivia, her eyes widened. Olivia looked back at Gina, and they both made eye contact. The men following the wagon didn't react or wonder where it was coming from. They showed no interest at all. The wagon turned the corner, and when it did, there were 3 men dressed in brown clothing with knee-length boots. A crowd of people hollered out, shouting hurtful words. Die, ye hag! Burn in hell with the devil, witch! Two of the men pulled a woman up onto a chair, her hands tied behind her back. She had on a light brown dress. One of the men placed the rope over her head. The short man tightened the rope so hard she coughed, tipping her head down. Both her knees about buckled. Olivia saw fear in her eyes, not knowing her life would end and where the soul would go. The woman looked at Olivia as tears traced down her cheeks. Olivia made eye contact and knew she couldn't help her. The wagon passed by, and Olivia had to look away. She heard the chair fall over and a shriek from the woman. The sound of her bones snapping sickened Olivia's stomach. Down below, past a small brush of trees, was the village. Many homes and brick buildings that looked the same from the pictures Olivia had seen on the internet. They followed the path right into the village. People stood outside the front doors of their homes, staring at Olivia and Gina. Some of the people were bulky or tiny. A little girl with greasy short brown hair and dirt-stained dress stared at Olivia. Some people went back into their homes and closed the doors. Women had their babies covered in a long white gown with a bonnet on their head. In a way, it looked sweet and peaceful, but sadly, they would grow up to be like all these hateful people, if they survived. In the back of her mind, Oreo, what are you doing? Hi, what are you doing? In the back of her mind, Olivia worried when they got older something would happen to them. But that was another reason why she was here, to stop Inga before she hurts anybody else. Men had large wooden pitchforks, throwing hay in another pile. They stopped to catch a glimpse of the wagon and kept their eyes on her as it rolled by. A cluster of active chickens ran around free, catching one another. Again, Olivia worried for the kids. A couple of cows lined in a row were inside a barn where teenage girls were squirting milk into a wooden bucket. They stopped and stared at Olivia. A worried feeling escaped from Olivia's eyes. All the kids she was seeing could be or were in danger. A few bulls with large horns on their heads were tied to a tree, munching on hay as more was heaped into a pile. Everybody who was outside looked at the girls in the wagon like they were some kind of show to watch from a different time. The wagon stopped, bringing Olivia and Gina forward. A couple of men climbed in by Olivia, pulled her out from underneath the arms, and dropped her to the ground. Dirt pressed in the creases of her elbows, and it stuck to her arms. Gina fell beside her. Richard removed himself from the horse and walked to a brick building. Olivia and Gina were forced to follow behind him as they passed the kitchen. Olivia heard and smelled onions being chopped and herbs ground together as the flames sizzled in the fireplace. A large piece of ham was cut into little pieces. Next to it was chopped and peeled potatoes on a plaster. Pieces of garlic and leaf spices laid on a piece of wood. Even though Olivia was scared, the food did smell good. It also made her hungry. A pan of boiling water sat above the flames on a metal plate. The heat of the kitchen was something she couldn't miss. Richard stopped in front of a double door. 2 guards grabbed the handle and opened it. They walked past the door frame and stepped into a room. There was a desk with a chair. Oh man, I hope I'm not ruining my cover. Okay. To the side sat a wooden table. A couple sheets of cream-colored papers flapped in the wind's grasp. Olivia thought of it like an old office, lost in time and left in the past to be forgotten. The wooden floors and the brick walls reminded her of the fairy tales about the knights and kings that Grandpa Quinn had read to her years ago. A cloud of dust clogged the air as a slight breeze blew through the wooden windows that had no glass. One of the guards cut the rope from Olivia's wrist, placed a hand on her shoulder, and pushed her down to the wooden chair. He did the same to Gina. Olivia looked at him like he was rude and seemed unhappy. Richard removed the sword and laid it on the table, then sat down in the chair. "So you girls have business here?" She nodded at the other man to leave. He nodded at the other man to leave. Olivia couldn't stop staring at Richard. It didn't matter how hard she tried. It was no use. Her eyesight couldn't stray away. She remembered everything from her dreams and why he was involved, but there was something missing, something big and something important. We're not what you think we are, sir. We've come here on a mission, and we're going to continue it whether you like it or not. And this is to kill Inga. Oh, I'm sorry. And this is to kill Inga? Yes, it is. Let me tell you something about Inga, he explained, then took a drink from his mug. How many kids has she killed? Gina asked. When the kids started disappearing, we put an alert out on her. We've tried to capture her many times before, but she kept escaping. I know she's deadly and evil. We both know that too, Olivia said. How did you know it was her killing all the kids? Gina asked. We caught her in the act. What else do you know about Inga? Olivia asked. Too much. Like what? Gina asked. Like, she put a curse on my boyfriend, something like that, Olivia interrupted. Richard got up and stopped by the window. The wicked curse spell. Gina looked at Olivia, then back at Richard. How do you know about that? As you did? Is it a spell or a curse? It's both. Inga made the spell and then put a curse on it. That's why it's called Wicked Curse. She wanted to curse her demons under a spell, and so she did, he said, then turned back around. A spell and a curse are two different things, Gina said. Yes, and I have explained it to ye. Why are you people? Who are you people? Why are you here? He asked. Outsiders don't belong here, he declared, slamming a hand down. Who are ye? We came to find Inga. We have to stop her, Olivia replied. All those kids outside I saw are in danger. How do you not understand that? I smelled your dirt the minute I saw ye. He leaned back from the table. Guards. A couple of men walked in and stopped beside each other. Yes, sir. Take them to the dungeon. We have to find Inga. Everybody is in danger. She's back, Olivia said. Please. No, wait. I'm your ancestor. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. Get them out of here. No, wait. I'm your ancestor. Richard stopped as if this caught his attention and looked at her. We have the same eyes, nose, and lips. We are related. You are my Grandpa Quinn's great. No more lies. The hatred in his voice took her back by surprise. I'm not lying. Gina, please tell him. She's telling the truth. One man grabbed Olivia's forearm and the other grabbed Gina's. The two men took them out of the building as the crowd of people waited. Throw them in the dungeon, a woman shouted from the front row. raising her hands in the air. "Don't let the witches out," a man commanded in the middle of the crowd, pointing at them. Burn them alive." "They will take our children away," another said in the far back. "Is that what ye want?" The guard stopped by a wooden door with a metal ring hanging from it. The man unlocked it and headed down the stone steps. Olivia felt the man's hands grip around her arms like a snake squeezing its prey. The cellar felt so cold it was like standing outside in the frigid snow. He opened another door and pushed Olivia to the dirt ground. Olivia fell to her hands and knees. Once she was on the ground, she saw a metal ring attached to a chain and wall. Olivia lunged back as if she saw a dead person and ran for the door. One of the guards grabbed her by the neck and pushed her to the ground. "Down, witch," he commanded, as if she was some kind of dog not minding the rules. The other guard picked up the ring and walked toward Olivia. His eyes were full of hate and anger, with a mixture of amusement. His body odor was so strong it was hard to breathe in the dusty air. She held a hand up in defense, pleading for her life, as if someone was going to shoot her repeatedly in the head or stab her until she bled to death. "No, please, we have to stop Inga, please." There was no way to get past both guards. She looked up at them as if they were giants. Olivia then heard Gina calling her name from down the hall. "They must have..." "What are you doing?" Oreo. Oh my gosh, he is so going to knock my poster off. "Get down, please. Get down." Oh my lord. They must have put her in a separate cell. Okay, hold on. Olivia then heard Gina calling her name from down the hall. Wait a minute. Okay, I got distracted. I have to reread. Okay. Olivia then heard Gina calling her name from down the hall. They must have put her in a separate cell. "Olivia, you have to stay calm. Just do what they say. Don't fight back." Before the guard leaned down inches from her, Olivia kicked him in the knee. She heard a popping sound, causing him to yell in pain. He dropped the ring and hunched his body over as if he'd been beaten from behind. He lurched back to the wall with a hand on his knee, breathing heavily through tight teeth, staring at her like she wanted to kill her right then and there. The other guard came in, footsteps, then whacked Olivia on the back of the head. It felt like a hammer on the skull. She fell forward to the ground as her sight blurred. A sharp, stabbing pain shot from every angle of her head, as if she was having a migraine. Her head spun around and around nonstop, her sight blurred with the smell of dirt under her nose and lips. The guard attached the ring around her neck and locked it. Olivia was sure they did the same to Gina in the other room. The guards walked away and locked the cellar doors. Laying on her front, she moved a hand to the back of her head. The pain still throbbed. "If I can get a finger underneath the ring, then I know I have room to breathe." She lifted her head and looked around. One single candle holder was attached to the wall with a little wax left in it. If the flame burnt out, then she would be all alone in the dark, like a scared animal, wondering where to go or how to find the light again. The rock walls and the cold, hard cement wasn't her idea of comfort. Some parts of the floor exposed the dirt underneath where underneath were large chunks set to the side. Olivia couldn't hear anything, but only her breathing, tasting the dust in the air. Oh, do 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 da da da. Okay, so I had a lot of fun writing that chapter. I remember, like, it's funny because when I was reading this chapter, it was like I was getting reminded of how I researched, like, when I was describing the people and the village, the buildings, and stuff like that. I was remembering when I got on the internet and I was, like, researching the Salem witch trials village and how, like, they lived. And I think in the previous chapter, or maybe a couple chapters ago, I did a chapter about the village or something. And I really needed to do research on the village, because I think, like, when you're writing a book or if you're writing a poem or a character, I just think detail is, like, really, really important. And that's what I try to do when I write a book. Even, like, in a poem, I just try to keep detail as important as I could. So that's what I did when I was like, working on the village and describing it. And I had a lot of fun. Like, in this chapter, and when you read it, I think you can see I had a lot of fun describing, like, the people and the village and stuff. So that was a lot of fun to do. And then for Olivia and Gina, I had to show a lot of emotion and fear from them. And like, I think it was the last chapter, when Olivia and Gina were, like, in the wagon, the guards were being, like, really mean and just sick, because one of the guards, like, Olivia and Gina were, like, whispering to each other, and one of the guards, like, took his sword and just whacked it on the side of the wagon, and it scared Olivia. And he said something like, I'll cut your tongue off and I will make you lick up your own blood with your own tongue or something. And I'm like, that is, like, disgusting. I don't know, like, seriously where I got that from. I was probably really mad one day. So so some of the things that they say is gross. And I do remember, like, these villagers, I think they only backed, like, once a month or something, because I remember when I was in the process of writing the book, I remember someone from the writers group said that, you know, these people probably don't shower every day. So give senses of, like, BO and all that, like, nasty hair, greasy hair, dirty skin. Ugh. And it's funny because after I got done writing that chapter, I was home all day, so I got up and I showered, even though I wasn't smelly or dirty. But it's like seeing somebody with greasy hair or, like, just really nasty, gross teeth. If I see that, when I go home for the day, I brush my teeth or I just get in the shower. I've always been that way. I'm very clean. So right in that part where the guards smelled of BO and their breath stunk and their ugh. It was, yeah. So a lot of detail and character. And the one part that I remember writing was when Olivia and Gina were walking by the kitchen, and there was a cook in there, and he was, like, cooking, and Olivia could smell the spices, and she could see chopped potatoes and a pan with boiling hot water. And I remember trying to research, like, because back then in the 1690, like in 1692, they had no running water, they had no electric. So I did struggle, like, a little bit with, like, the 1962 part, like, that year when witches were hung, and 92, yeah. So I just had, because like I said, they didn't have the things we have. No cell phones, no cars, electric, running water. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how did these people live without any of that? So that's when I had to get on the internet and I had to do, like, research. And I think I did okay. But anyways, so I had a lot of fun writing that chapter. And it does feel good to, like, oh, well, hell's bells. Look who decided they wanted to take the spot. Hi, Oreo. Hi, honey. Yeah, you do, baby. Hi. Did you want to say hi to everybody? Huh? Yeah, get your butt out of my face. Okay. Oreo is starting to repeat what Batman does. I have to admit, I do talk to my cats a lot. I do. And I honestly don't care what people think. So when I'm talking, they think I'm talking to them. And they jump up here on my lap like Oreo just did. Or I'm surprised Batman didn't jump up here. Like in my past lives that I've done, you can see him get in front of the camera, or you can see his tail go across the screen. So I'm just like, okay. He did throw up a little bit earlier. I hope he's not getting sick. I just think he eats his food, like, too fast and then he vomits it out. Ain't that right, Oreo? Hi, honey. Hi, what are you doing, huh? Hi. Oh my goodness, you're just so handsome. Hi, honey. Do you want to turn around and say goodbye to everybody? Huh? Look. That's you. That's you. What do you think? Okay. So the whole time I was sick, he was actually on my lap. I wasn't so sick to the point where, like, I just laid in bed all day. I have to be, like, deadly ill to be in a bed all day. So I think the first 2 times I did just lay on the couch and played games on my phone. I watched Stephen King book signings on YouTube and interviews and stuff. And I worked on my book a little bit. So, but I am feeling a lot better, which is good. And these are really, really good. They actually help my stomach. I ate a lot of saltine crackers. And I've been eating soups a lot. I'm so sick and tired of eating soups. So I'm not going to eat another soup for a long time. So anyways, that is it for this live video. And I'm so glad to be back in front of the camera. I was going to film yesterday, but my stomach was still hurting a little bit. So I was like, I think I'll just take it slow today again. Right, Oreo? Oh, there's Batman. Batman? Hi, honey. You want to say hi to everybody? No? Okay. So I will see you guys in the next live video, which I don't know, maybe this Friday. I'm not sure. If I do, it'll be at I'll be babysitting the twins. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching this. And I hope you guys have a great evening. Right, Batman? Okay. Batman and Oreo are getting a little crazy.